Hello and welcome to IABM TV. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Ireland, Managing Director, and Neil Neusten, Business Development Director at Graphical Data. Gentlemen, welcome to IABM TV.
Hey man, thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
So, not many people will have heard of Graphical Data. Can you tell us a bit about the company?
Oh, hi. Yeah, thanks, Ben. I'll take that one. So Graphical Data's HQ is based in Belfast, but we also have a presence in London and in Warsaw. And our core business is about providing services to enterprise and SME-sized organizations. And we do this via the use of data analytics and workflow tools in software. And the goals of the company are for actionable business intelligence, improved performance, and increased productivity. And we do this via a suite of well-developed software products. Chris, would you like to add a bit more?
Thanks, Neil. Yes. So GD have been around now for over 10 years. So important clients in the broadcast and telecom sector. During that time, our software has been used on a number of major programs, and that's still the case today. To give you a bit of background on the company, when we set out around over 10 years ago now, our aim was to build a team with a blend of skill sets, including industry expertise and technical skills. So in other words, what we wanted to do is bring together those who are familiar with the problems of the industry and those who have the expertise to create software solutions. And in addition to that, we also have an in-house design team. And the reason for this is that we felt it was essential that all of our products were highly usable and highly visual pleasing in terms of user interfaces. And I think based on feedback, we've achieved that to some degree. So I think that combined set of skills and experience puts us in a really good position to be partners with our clients. We aim to ensure that we have a speedy and effective setup and deployment, making sure that our clients get quick results and so that they can see return on investment early, which is a big aim of ours. Neil, would you add anything else to that?
No, I think I would just emphasize that although we do have a really good foot in the door with the telecoms and broadcast sector, with the software tools that we have available, they are applicable to many other things. They're transferable. We're also having operations with the aerospace industry sector and also in the transport opportunity that we're looking at the moment. So they are really beneficial to anybody in business to improve productivity and workflow and understanding of data.
Okay, so let's talk products and services. Can you give us an overview of what GD provide?
Yes, for sure. We have three major products, Resolve, Illuminator, and Data Visualizations. And firstly, I'd point out that these are not off-the-shelf products. They are software packages which are highly configurable toolkits. They allow us to use these to then sort out customers' and clients' data problems and to bring clarity from buried or otherwise unavailable information. In saying that, there's no great steep learning curve for the customers because we will help with the configuration and setup to get the results as quickly as possible to the customers. And the sources of information can be old databases, active databases, Excel spreadsheets, Access, any sort of data, including the written word and text. We can talk more of that in a short while. There are pretty much no hidden support costs either. You don't need a special operator. We provide that as part of the support package. And we're really pleased to be able to provide creative analytic dashboards which provide the latest information available. Chris, would you like to talk more about the software products in specifics?
Certainly. So as Neil mentioned, we have three main products, each for a specific purpose. Before I get on to the products themselves, I just re-emphasize what Neil said, that they're all software toolkits which can be shaped to fit an organization's specific need. But at the same time, they're built on top of a core framework, meaning they are quick to adapt as well. So we aren't building things from scratch. We like to say that they're tailored, not bespoke solutions. So the first product I'd like to tell you about is Resolve. Resolve is a workflow management tool or business process management tool rather than content workflow. That's not what we're talking about. It's designed to allow organizations to combine multiple business processes and map those into a single system. One of the benefits of Resolve is that we can take a process such as risk management, or it could be anything else. There are a lot of modules within Resolve that we can use. And that can be managed in different ways across an organization, but viewed in a single dashboard. A good analogy that I like to rob from Neil sometimes is it's like taking apples, pears, and lemons and presenting them as a comparable set of oranges. What that means is it's less time spent assessing the problem and more time that can be spent developing a strategy to respond to the issue. So while Resolve is targeted towards workflow, Illuminator is our product which is focused on data management. So the goal of Illuminator is to take multiple data sets and present them in a common tool, offering users a single view of the truth, as we like to say. It can be used, and it has been used for a myriad of functions, ranging from project governance, network capacity planning, rack management tools, auto-generated logical diagrams, to name a few. But whatever the data set is, the goal of Illuminator is to present data in a visual, easy to manage database environment. And then last but not least, we have our data visualization services. So we offer data visualization as a service. So by data visualization, we mean we help organizations realize the full power of their data by presenting it in new and easy to interpret and graphical dashboards. We work with organizations to give them answers to the questions they have. And sometimes they get answers to questions they didn't even know they had. One of the big benefits of data visualization as a service is that we don't expect our customers to take on the burden of learning new tools and skills to manipulate the data. What we do is we take the data in raw format, we analyze it, and then we present the results in various dashboards, utilizing a huge variety of charts and maps and graphics and whatever it is to fit the need. So all the customer needs to do is analyze the results. Neil, would you add anything further to the products?
Not the products so much, but just to add that our services are available as software as a service in our cloud, or you can have them in your own cloud if you have one, or they can be hosted in a data center as needs be. With the 10 years of development that we've got in-house, they all have a really mature and well-developed simple navigation capability. So they're easy to learn for all sorts of operators within the systems. And we provide active help with getting it set up, as we said. They're also able to provide flashed or timed reporting, extracting of data into Excel or any other format. So the data is both available and accessible. And all the modules that we have are both standalone or fully integratable, so that you can start with a toe in the water as a business and say, let's try the workflow, let's see how it goes in one particular aspect, and then grow and add, whether it's cessation, change, or any of the other modules that we have in the other groups to bring in and grow and expand your usage of the services.
So what's new with GD? We keep hearing this term new normal, but have you now got a new normal?
Yes, I think we have. Like all organizations, there's been change for everybody. We resorted to our own business continuity plans when the COVID outbreak struck, and we continue to work full-time without any interruption to our service provision. But a lot of organizations are obviously now having to plan and reorganize how they work in a new way. And we think Resolve is a perfect tool for the digitization of workflow processes. It provides a centralized system to help govern new workflows, and this would seem essential to aid in the coordinated activities of home working in a new way. Added to that, we also looked at our own business continuity module and worked out that we could expand its capability and availability to any of our customers, whether it's to adapt and update their existing business continuity plans or to provide a fresh access to that. It provides, as do all the bits of software, a dynamic and flexible way of keeping focus on the output goals of what your company is about. None of us can predict what the next major issue might be, but we can prepare for what you'd like to be able to achieve should it occur in that sense. And as the module links in, as all the modules within Graphical Data do, to the other modules, any changes in your operations, say a supplier that stops providing certain services, can be alarmed so that it will reflect into your business continuity plan and advise you that you should take a look at that before going on too far ahead, so that it stays up to date and available. That's really good. Chris, would you like to talk about the website?
Yes, thanks, Neil. Yes, we've got a new website recently launched in the last few weeks. So over the years, we built up quite a bit of content, which we wanted to make easier to access. So our aim with the new website was to provide better navigation, to give clear explanations of the products and what they can do, and also to provide a lot of beneficial reference material through various case studies. And the feedback's been really good so far, very positive. So we'd encourage everybody to visit the website and find out more about GD and what we can do. I think that's a good summary of what we've been up to lately and what's new with GD.
It's a nice website. I was on there earlier and I noticed that there's some case studies on there. Can you give us a couple of examples of these case studies?
Yes, certainly. Plenty we can talk about. I'll start off. So to start with a few recent examples of data visualization services that we've done. To give you a bit of background, we had a company that came to us and asked us to look at some data from their support desk ticket management system. The system was not set up in the best way to capture information. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of free text fields, a lot of non-mandatory fields. It meant the tickets that were very generalized in terms of how they were captured. And sometimes it was literally just data dumps of email chains, which, as you can imagine, was very difficult to interpret and analyze at any kind of scale and get any meaningful analytics out of. So what we did was we were able to take the raw data with little direction from the client and cleanse it and perform analysis on it, part of which included a keyword identification process, which was really useful in terms of dealing with large free text fields to get some meaning from. And from this, we were able to generate meaningful reports, presenting them visually on a series of dashboards. The result of which to give you an idea of the types of results that were there, an example of the visual tools we used were heat maps, which proved very effective in identifying trends in ticket volume versus our keyword analysis, which I mentioned before. And in addition to that, we were able to show the operations teams what they were dealing with, what the most problems were, where problems were occurring most frequently, and also what the most common root causes tended to be. So the end result of all of that was that the customer was able to use that information to reorganize their support desk setup. And they were also able to look at the year ahead and plan strategically for what was coming up. So if there was a new software rollout coming or major projects or programs were going live, they could plan for the likely uplift in demand associated with it. So that's an example of data visualization from the point of view of human generated data. And Neil, you could probably give us a good example recently of one that we did that was looking at machine generated data rather than human generated.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. One springs to mind immediately, which is we had a customer who had interactions with their clients and which generated 1 million data points a year of kind of background data, purchasing, selling, usage, durations of usage, how things were being used. And although this was very convenient and kind of effectively being used to generate both the business and the invoicing processes, it didn't really give them an understanding of what their customers were doing. So they came to us and said, we've got some new products, but we're not sure which of our customers might be interested in the new products. Could you help bring some daylight into what is otherwise just our massive numbers and bits and pieces? And I was really pleased to say they gave us the data sets. It took us about 10 days to go through, check and clear up the data, make sure it was all sensible and interpretable. And then we produced for them very quickly maps, diagrams, graphs, different types of graphs, bar charts, heat graphs, showing them all the information that they kind of knew was in there, but they didn't understand. How much in advance was a customer placing an order? What duration was the order for? What complexity was that order? Was it a single item or was it a multifaceted item? And all of this information was then presented very clearly, both as an overview, so they could see what their business was doing, but also down to the individual customer layer. They could filter on a given individual customer and know how that customer had used the services. And this really provided them with huge advantage when they went into the marketplace. They knew more about their customers' interactions with themselves than the customer did. And therefore they could say, we have the new product. Would you like to buy this? It will really fit into how you're using our products already and potentially save you money and be more efficient. So that was a machine generated, as I say, multi-million kind of point data sets, but we were still able to turn that around very quickly. And it did allow the customer, as Chris pointed out, to go and ask us, and therefore themselves, a second layer of questions about what it was they were doing and how it was being used and what resources were being kind of undertaken in that. In terms of the data management, Chris, could you speak to Illuminator a little bit more?
Yeah, certainly. I've got a good example of a case study that has a lot of the benefits of Illuminator, which is, of course, our data management software tool set. So again, a little bit of background. Our customer was embarking on a program to upgrade their network across the UK. What this involved was a lot of planning in terms of looking at what the existing infrastructure was and designing the new network at the same time. So we were able to use Illuminator to take a feed of their network data, which was pretty much in rough XLS format, and tidy it up, consume it into the Illuminator database, and then present it on a graphical map environment with all the functions and tools that you would expect from a modern mapping tool. What this meant was they were able to see their sites and connectivity in a graphical environment, making it easier to interpret and to make design decisions off. In addition to that, we're able to combine this with other data sets to create automated logical diagrams, network design schematics, which were normally taking days for designers to complete using tools like Visio, could be instantly generated using the Illuminator system just from the raw data that was fed into the system. Similarly, the Illuminator rack management module, again, they were able to create rack designs that could be done within the tool itself using data that was consumed in the Illuminator. And it could be automatically generated and pulled out of the system and go into engineering design packs. Again, saving days of designers' time and allowing them to focus on the task at hand rather than wrestling with other software products. So above all else, Illuminator acted as a single place for the customer, which they could use to combine and share multiple data sets. And for the program, it created an up-to-date single view of the truth that everyone involved in the program could reference at any point. So that's a Illuminator case study. And I guess the last one we've done, data visualization and Illuminator. I suppose, Neil, you could probably give one on Resolve that would.
Yes, thank you. So Resolve, again, to emphasize, is about workflow. And I think the example we've almost referenced earlier on, we work with a big corporation who have about 5 or 6 divisions that have come to them via merger, acquisition, and new generation, all of which do their risk management in a slightly different way. They all do it very well, but it's slightly different. And the new director who was overseeing all of these groups was finding it quite difficult to compare the risks that he was being presented with in the weekly meetings that were taking half a day or longer, to be able to make a value judgment or a meaningful kind of decision on what the strategic or action processes should be. Furthermore, if the meeting was missing a crucial member, the meeting would be cancelled, and therefore risks weren't being dealt with at all for another week, possibly, or longer, till the meeting could be rearranged. So they came to us and we worked with each individual division and group, worked out what they were doing with their risks, extracted those out from the apples, the lemons and the pears that they had, and produced a dashboard of oranges that meant the director was able to see very quickly and very clearly and online all the various risks from all the divisions, all kind of brought up into a tile that he could very quickly see A to B, B to C comparatively, and make his decisions on what did or didn't need to be done. The fact it was online also meant that the meetings were generally just agreement shops that these were the risks and actions could be processed. So they were taking 15 to 20 minutes rather than 3 or 4 hours at a time. An enormous saving both in time and effort of the people involved in those meetings, but also in getting actions done on some of the most strategic risks they had. The system was also capable of generating emails against actions that were allocated during the meeting. So that prior to the next meeting, anybody who had an action would be sent a little prompt a couple of days in advance saying, have you done your action? And these kept the risk meetings both on focus and moving and improving things. And in the background of that, we generated a dashboard that showed the curve of risk being kind of driven downwards on a regular basis. And any risks sometimes that didn't, they could see very quickly, oh, there's a risk has gone up for some reason. So those are good case studies that I think we have, Ben, for what graphical data is able to provide.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot going on with graphical data at the moment. Have you got any final thoughts, either of you?
Yes, if you don't mind, I'll go first, Neil. So I just like to say thanks for your time. Thanks for giving us the chance to come and talk about graphical data and what it is we do. If I was going to summarize the benefits of the GD products once more, it's all about saving money, increasing productivity, and providing control and governance over an organization's data and information. The last thing I would say is just a reminder, check out the new website when you get a chance. There's a lot of good information on there. Neil, would you like to say anything else?
I think we've covered almost everything. I would just emphasize, we would like people to get in touch. There's a lot more information we can provide. We're happy to set up demonstrations and proof of concepts. We normally like to do this with the customer's own data sets, as it provides so much more resonance when they see their information coming back at them with enhanced information about it. So I would just emphasize, don't wait, act now. Who knows what's around the next corner? Get ahead of the game and get in touch with graphical data.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, both of you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
You too, Ben.
Thank you very much.
So you can find out more about everything we've discussed today and also book interviews and demos with the team at graphicaldata.co.uk.